Welcome to the Big Show Newscast, your source for breaking news from the show floor and daily coverage featuring new products, events, interviews, and equipment spotlights. Brought to you by ForConstructionPros.com, the #1 website for construction professionals. Sponsored by Caterpillar. The next generation starts here.
It's hard to believe that 2 days of CONEXPO-CON 2011 are behind us. On today's Big Show Newscast, we're going to focus on new telematics standards, a discussion about Tier 4 and truck emission standards. This production of ForConstructionPros.com is presented by Caterpillar, where the next generation starts here. We hope your day is a good one.
BIM technology is building information modeling. It's taking models and using them for quantity takeoffs, for creating drawings, running reports, and then a big part of the information modeling is sharing it. So sharing your information, if you're a concrete contractor, sharing it with a general contractor, with the engineer, and really acting more as a community on a project rather than individual trades.
BIM has been around for a few years, gaining traction in the construction industry. The basic idea is taking your building, putting it into a computer model, and putting information in it.
The whole BIM process is really about a workflow. It's taking the concept of a design through the design process into the construction process, and then ultimately delivering that to an owner.
Building models can contain information about the price, the schedule, any kind of data, productivity data can all be incorporated into a model. And the most cost-effective way to use building information modeling currently is just for simple 3D collision detection and coordination. You can also find a lot of constructability issues by putting an architectural, a structural model in together with your mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire sprinkler models, and just finding issues that don't pop out to you in a 2D overlay. The old-fashioned way of light tables, it doesn't find a lot of issues that these 3D models make very apparent. And each time you miss a clash like that and it gets out into the field, it ends up costing far more than it would if you had invested the time up front to do better planning and better coordination, and this 3D model presents that better coordination method. Today
it's up and coming, particularly in the concrete world. What you'll find in the steel and the structural steel world is that 3D's been there for a long time, and nearly a decade, and so they're using it very much. What we're starting to see now is at this stage, the general contractors are picking it up a lot because they're seeing the benefits of the coordination. The concrete guys are slowly feeling that and appreciating it and starting to use the tools themselves. What we're going to see in the future is, number one, is more jobs being modeled, whether they're 7-11 slabs or part of the New York skyscrapers. You'll see them being modeled more and more because of those benefits, and then you'll see more and more trades being involved. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing has been modeling for a long time. The structural steel, the rebar detailing particularly, all of the trades that are involved in putting a structure together will start to model, and then the efficiency will go up. So it goes in line with a lot of those things, the lead campaigns that are going on. There's less waste, more efficiency. There's a big gap between where it could be and where it is today. We're again just gaining traction with BIM in the construction industry, and I foresee in the next even 5 years, the industry really making it a standard for any project. And the level of detail that you go into will vary based on projects. Whether you want to detail every single nut and bolt on the project or you just need very basic shape geometry. It's a matter of what you're going to get the most value out of.
One of the greatest returns on investment that we're going to see in the construction process is taking those models to the field. And for the work that we self-perform, we're able to break apart those models, understand the models, and then sequence the construction through that whole process.
Well, the biggest benefit for contractors right at the get-go is winning jobs. Right now, we've seen more and more owners asking, and not just asking, but requiring building information modeling in their job proposals, in their request for proposals, I should say. And and they expect a certain level of technology and a certain level of expertise in the technology from their general contractors today. There's, aside from just showing off a model that you guys can model, having general contractors show that they understand how the model can be used to benefit the owner, to improve a schedule, to minimize the cost of the project, more accurate quantity takeoffs, and better coordination, which leads to a better quality product.
Our role inside of Myron Construction, which is being virtual construction, we are constantly trying to identify the efficiencies in that construction process. So we're working closely with our superintendents, with our concrete crews, with the erectors of the steel and the precast, and we need to help them understand what they're going to build, and then they can understand how they're going to build it through the sequencing process.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers run strong, profitable businesses. We continue that tradition with the introduction of Cat Tier 4 Interim Stage 3B engines. Developed with customer input, decades of systems integration experience, powerful engineering tools, and the most aggressive validation program in Cat history, we've integrated proven technologies to optimize productivity, fuel efficiency, component life, and operating costs, all while driving down emissions. The result? An engine line that's good for business and reduces emissions.
The Ditch Witch SK650 is already designed for dozens of utility and landscaping functions, but we found room for one more, stretching your dollar. The SK650, now only $19,499. On top of the stability and traction they give you on the job, our heavy-duty tracks also give you better financial footing. Get free tracks when you buy a new Ditch Witch RT12 trencher. Hurry, this is a limited time offer.
With over 3,000 models, selecting the right pump for the job can be easy with Gorman Rupp. Visit us at booth C5011.
Damn it! I hate these things! Come see the latest in distance measuring devices from Fast Measure at booth S515.
Hi, I'm Larry Stewart, editor with ForConstructionPros.com at CONEXPO-CON 2011. I'm with Stan Orr, the president of the AEMP, talking about the telematics standard that the association just released. Stan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the telematics standard is and what it means to contractors?
Larry, it's basically it's a schema that allows back-of-the-house software in a contractor's office to communicate with the equipment directly to download basic information, fuel consumption, location, hours. In the past, if a contractor had a multiple fleet, they had to look at a screen for each one of those pieces of equipment or each one of those manufacturers, and everybody has a mixed fleet, of course. And so this allows it to come into one place, and these contractors can now look at their fleet screenshot, where in the past they literally might have had to download it either by hand and then copy it onto another spreadsheet or something, and of course human error creates all kinds of problems with that. And so this is basically a watershed moment for the industry. This kind of stuff has happened in the over-the-road trucking industry, but it was, as I understand it, federally mandated. Okay. So this allows us to, allows the industry to get a common schema that thankfully the Caterpillar, John Deere, Volvo, Komatsu, the major manufacturers have embraced and actually helped develop this schema in order to get it down to, I'm oversimplifying, but get it down to one screen.
Right.
Multiple screens.
Well, and I imagine that's the important thing to contractors. But it's interesting that when you mentioned those different brands and coordinating the data from their various systems, it seems to me like it'd almost require an association, uninvolved third party, if you will, to help pull that together. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how AEMP facilitated that?
We took the extraordinary, I think, step of going to each individual manufacturer at the 2008 CONEXPO and asking them would they be willing to discuss with us in a forum with other manufacturers the possibility of fixing this, because our members were telling us that was really causing a lot of hassle, and quite frankly. I'm really not surprised. I think in retrospect, I was expecting a little bit of resistance, and I got absolutely none. And I think the reason is really pretty simple. When you've got an organization like AEMP with a vast fleet, aggregate fleet of all of our members, a lot of purchasing power in the billions of dollars, the manufacturers really have a genuine desire to do what's best for the customer.
It's great to see the association stepping up and making it work.
I think it's important for organizations to do this kind of stuff. We didn't go into this with some idea of developing a revenue stream or currying favor with anybody. We truly went into it for the good of the industry.
As our Big Show newscast continues, we're going to learn about the new Tier 4 emission standards and their impact on our environment.
I'm Edgar Sandoval, and joining me today is Caterpillar Chief Technology Officer Tana Utley. Tana, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Tana, how has Caterpillar approached product development to meet Tier 4 emission standards?
Really, Edgar, it's no different than we'd approach any other product development, and that is we really begin with understanding the requirements. And at a very high level, that's reducing the emissions by 90%, which is a monumental challenge, but most importantly, providing customer value. So that's really first and foremost in our mind.
What factors did you consider in selecting the Tier 4 emissions technology?
Well, our objective in introducing this new emissions technology is to make sure the customer really doesn't even notice it's there. Yes, these machines are going to produce significantly fewer emissions, but we want to make sure that he doesn't know that that technology is there. It's really running in the background. Our objective is to provide him with a machine that is more productive, safer, easier to use than the previous machines.
So what about the resulting solution? What did that look like?
Well, the resulting solution, first let me talk about the customer value, and then I'm going to rewind back to the emissions solution. In the customer value space, every one of our Tier 4 machines has its own story. Let's take the 336E hydraulic excavator. Yes, it has a Tier 4 interim machine compliance, but it also has 8% greater visibility as the operator looks out the glass. It has increased digging performance so that the cycle times are shorter. It has 18% more power, quite a bit of customer value. If you take a look at our mid-size wheel loaders, you'll also see improved performance there. We have significantly improved fuel consumption, both in the load and carry application and then just in loading. We have a new operator station in that case series wheel loader, and we have controls that are easier for the operator to use, which is going to enhance his productivity. So when our customers are buying our Tier 4 machines, that's what they're going to see. Now, operating in the background, that's the Tier 4 technology, and we've taken great pains to make sure that it can be transparent to the customer. It's a robust solution, and as we put that together, we wanted to build upon our 20-year investment in emissions reduction. Now, this is no new journey. This is a journey that's been really 18 to 20 years in the making. So we wanted to build upon the investment, fuel systems, air systems, electronics, and aftertreatment. And that aftertreatment is what you are going to see most visibly different with our Tier 4 emission solution. It features a Caterpillar Clean Emissions module, and I'm doing this with my hands because it's in a cradle. We've designed that so that our Tier 4 interim solution for a clean emissions module, which holds the aftertreatment, will be able to carry us through to Tier 4 final. So from a customer's external perspective, it's going to look quite similar between Tier 4 interim and Tier 4 final.
Tana, what's your message to customers who might be a little bit apprehensive about the Tier 4 emission solutions?
Don't worry. You know, I heard somebody coach somebody one time in the game of golf, and the person they were trying to coach had a terrible short game, but he had a great drive. And his golf coach didn't work with him on his short game. He worked with him on leveraging that strength he had of his long drive. If you want to win, I guess, whether it's in golf, sports, or in business, you leverage your strength. You know, for Caterpillar, that is our dealer network. And we started leveraging that strength of the dealers at the very onset of Tier 4. We asked them for input on our customer requirements, and I think if you talk to your CAT dealer, he'll say that we've been listening. What do they want in these Tier 4 products? So we've engaged them from the beginning of the design process, and then as we have designed these, we've brought their service technicians in to help us design our service training programs, and then we're rolling these training programs out, and have been for the past several months actually, to dealers, you know, all around the world. Caterpillar has a legacy in generations of support in our CAT dealers, and you can count on that also for Tier 4.
In relation to Tier 4 regulations, we have a full lineup of Tier 4 engines that will be available actually starting in early 2011 in the 7-liter product, and in 2012 we have additional Tier 4 interim products that will be available at that time. So basically what we've done at Tier 4 interim, we've taken the horsepower up to 174 horsepower. We've increased the power density. We're utilizing a single or dual turbocharging arrangement, dependent upon the power and the power requirements for the individual applications from an OEM perspective. Perkins utilizes two different types of regeneration systems. We have a passive system, a low temperature system, and a active high temperature regeneration system, and that's tailored to the individual horsepower requirements of the individual engines and the emission regulations tied to those particular engines. Customers are going to notice that we have a diesel particulate filter which utilizes a low temperature catalytic regeneration system, and that system is required to meet the Tier 4 interim emissions regulations. The diesel particulate filter that Perkins utilizes on the 4.4 liter engine is service-free and really is designed for the life of the engine. It utilizes a continuous transparent regeneration which doesn't require any operator interface. There are really, in the 4.4 liter engine, no additional fluids are required in the regeneration system. Now there are some other service features on our engines that we've incorporated at Tier 4 interim, and that we have hydraulic tappets which don't require service or maintenance, multi-V belts. We also have not changed, or we have maintained the 500-hour oil change interval, which is important from an end user perspective. And we, in addition to the 2 years, 2,000-hour warranty, Perkins also has extended coverage programs which can lower owning and operating costs, or make owning and operating costs more predictable over the life of the engine.
For Tier 4 interim off-road technologies, they'll be very similar to what some customers have already been seeing on the on-highway side with EPA 2007 emissions after-treatment systems and technologies. For the engines in 2011, January 1st, 2011 to be exact, we'll be using an exhaust gas recirculation system, and then adding also a diesel particulate filter, or the Cummins particulate filter in this case, and using that to meet the emission standards reductions. So some folks will have seen this on the on-highway side. We're leveraging that technology that we've already been using on the on-road side and using that to make off-road improvements as well. For Tier 4 engines from 75 to 173 horsepower, Cummins is also introducing engines with exhaust gas recirculation as well as the Cummins compact catalyst. And this is a different after-treatment system that we're using, that it's completely passive It's free of any type of interface for an operator. They'll notice no difference in terms of panels or anything like that, lights, urea fluid. Operators will still notice the same power. In fact, they'll notice an improved response with their Tier 4 engines compared to Tier 3. We've integrated it so that our engines are completely free of that user interface and the engines can run as normal. With Cummins, we have over 750,000 diesel particulate filters in use today on the on-road side. And with that, we've gained a lot of experience on how long these products last, the type of service requirements that we have. They're designed to last the entire life of the engine. And virtually every user that we've had on field tests and demoing products have noticed just a clear transition from Tier 3 to Tier 4 products. It's been very helpful. And then on the smaller engine side for the January 1st, 2012 emission levels, we're going to be using a diesel oxidation catalyst. It's the Cummins Compact Catalyst. And that is a completely passive-free system. It completely is simplified for those smaller engine levels. So that's been something that we've also gained a lot of experience with.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers run strong, profitable businesses. We continue that tradition with the introduction of Cat Tier 4 Interim Stage 3B engines. Developed with customer input, decades of systems integration experience, powerful engineering tools, and the most aggressive validation program in Cat history, we've integrated proven technologies to optimize productivity, fuel efficiency, component life, and operating costs, all while driving down emissions. The result? An engine line that's good for business and reduces emissions.
The Ditch Witch SK650 is already designed for dozens of utility and landscaping functions, but we found room for one more, stretching your dollar. The SK650, now only $19,499. On top of the stability and traction they give you on the job, our heavy-duty tracks also give you better financial footing. Get free tracks when you buy a new Ditch Witch RT12 trencher. Hurry, this is a limited time offer.
With over 3,000 models, selecting the right pump for the job can be easy with Gorman Rupp. Visit us at booth C5011.
Damn it! I hate these things!
Come see the latest in distance measuring devices from Fast Measure at booth S515.
Some major new regulations regarding our environment are creating new and exciting challenges for hybrid and alternative fuels, as you're about to learn as the Big Show Newscast continues from CONEXPO-CON Ag 2011.
Well, realistically, there is no one solution when a fleet looks to improve their greenhouse gas solutions and also to cut costs, usage costs. Today, for example, as we know, diesel's running around $4 a gallon. Compressed natural gas, about $2.50 an equivalent gallon. So there's a big financial incentive along with great improvements for greenhouse gas.
2007 was a significant emission requirement for EPA. Had passed a new requirement for 2007 model year. They also at that time had pretty much showed what the 2010 requirements were going to be. So working with Cummins, our diesel engine supplier, they came to us and said, we've got an idea. Instead of doing 2 developments, because it's expensive and lots of work goes into them, why don't we go all the way to the 10 model year requirement? And we think we can get there using lean NOx technology instead of the urea, which we knew the industry was going to. So developing the 6.7 liter Cummins turbo diesel, that whole program was focused on actually meeting the 10 emissions, and we launched that in 2007. So for 3 years we had the cleanest diesel in the market, and then as 10 model year came around, we didn't have to change anything. We were already there. And we had already refined it, it's proven, it's working great in the field now.
If you went back in time, we had a choice back in the 2005 or so time frame as far as what emissions technology we were going to use. One's emission technology would require the use of diesel emission fluid or urea added as an after treatment to the exhaust system. We elected to choose an in-cylinder solution. So we're basically using the EGR system in the truck to do the same work without having an extra DEF tank and without having the extra weight and added cost on the truck.
We wanted to add, and we finally got the 6.8 liter V10 with a 6-speed automatic transmission now available in the F650. Not only do we bring this in, it's a nice low-cost solution for a very capable truck that runs up to 30,000 pounds GVW, but it's also capable of being converted to compressed natural gas or propane. So in either of those cases, now you have a very capable, low-cost upfit that you can now improve greenhouse gas solutions, meet any kind of emission standards for the future, all in this one package.
In the exhaust, there's what's called lean NOx trap. So the way Cummins developed it, we actually are able to achieve the 0.2 nitrous oxide emission requirement that the federal government set with that technology. We went that way because we knew it's a great advantage for our customers not to have to pay for and deal with the maintenance costs of the urea. Now when we moved to chassis cab, it's a different test. These are certified on a dynamometer, and it's a very different test requirement. So as we developed that, we realized we really needed to go to the urea. That was the right technology for a chassis cab certification. It's the way EPA dictates the test parameters. So we developed the urea system for the 11 model year as we launched this truck with the new cab and all the great interior that came with the other Ram lineup.
We're looking forward to another super day at CONEXPO-CON Ag 2011 here in Las Vegas, and we hope you are as well. There's much to see and do if you're going to experience all this convention has to offer. Tomorrow, our Big Show Newscast will look at some of the many new products poised to come on the market for the construction industry. And we hope you'll be right here with us at 4constructionpros.com. Sponsored by Caterpillar, where the next generation starts here. Have a great time today at CONEXPO-CON Ag 2011.
For generations, Caterpillar has delivered innovative products that help customers run strong, profitable businesses. We continue that tradition with the introduction of Cat Tier 4 Interim Stage 3B engines. Developed with customer input, decades of systems integration experience, powerful engineering tools, and the most aggressive validation program in Cat history, we've integrated proven technologies to optimize productivity, fuel efficiency, component life, and operating costs, all while driving down emissions. The result? An engine line that's good for business and reduces emissions.